I'm Rose Eddington. I'm a Unitarian Universalist minister. I'm also chair of the board of OVEC. And what I brought was this hat. I had been out of West Virginia for several decades and came back in 1998-99 for that year. And in that year I met Larry Gibson and walked part of the walk with him to bring awareness about the need to stop mountaintop, well, just to let people know, first of all, that it was going on then, and the need to stop it. And meeting him was like a spiritual experience because he just reminded me how much I love the mountains. Seeing the heartbreak of what went on with mountaintop removal, I can identify with you who is seeing fracking going on. I've gone out to see the fracking things, and it's the same heartbreak. So this hat, in a way, reminds me of some of the heartbreak that we have here, but it also reminds me of the hope. And I do have another little story with this hat. I was on the committee that planned our public witness event for our Unitarian Universalist General Assembly when it was held in Louisville. And we had Wendell Berry come and speak. And we were standing out in the sun sweating. So I gave this hat to Wendell Berry to wear. So to me, this hat has some of the symbolism of the spirit of Larry Gibson, some of the sweat of Wendell Berry. And to me, just the symbolism of what I really, really appreciate about Appalachia is our people. And the people who love and care for this land and are willing to stand up and crow like roosters to say, we've got to take care of this place that we love. Thank you.
So what I brought today was this piece of clay, and this clay came off of my farm. I live in Kentucky, but I'm a native West Virginian. Lived here for 40 years, but I moved to Kentucky and bought a little 10-acre farm, and it was just like heaven to me. And so my fiance, who died 5 years ago, he was building a pond on the farm for me. And he had dug the pond out, and I went up there to look at it, and I was down in the bottom because there was no water in it yet. And I looked down, and there was this blue clay. And I reached down, and I dug that clay out with my fingers, and I rolled it around into this ball. And I didn't think anything about it. I brought it home, I laid it down, and now it's hard. It's just like a rock. So when I started thinking about this event, I'll pass this around, you guys can look at it. There's a lot of things I think about with that little ball of clay. There's a book that's called The Milkweed Ladies, and I can't remember the name of the author right now, but she's a West Virginian. And there's a line in that book, and it says, to know a patch of earth is to know something, wait a minute, let me say this again. To love a patch of earth is to know something beyond death. And so when Wilma was saying, I hope I don't get emotional, but when she said that about the earth going on, that's what I thought about, because when you love something so much, part of you is part of that earth. And so when I dug that little ball of clay up, in my religious beliefs, I believe we came from the earth. And to me, that I love the earth so much that when I see it destroyed, it is a physical hurt. Because my little piece of earth is now surrounded by a rock quarry. Oh. And so every day when I go home, my heart aches to see the place I love being blown up. Oh. But the other thing I think about with that little ball of clay is, in its first form, it was very soft and malleable. But then through manipulations and being exposed to certain things, it's turned into something very hard. And in one way, that's a good thing. I used to be very, shy and backward until I saw the earth being destroyed by mountaintop removal. And so I've become tough. I've become tough in fighting the bad. But, you know, the other thing I have to think about, and you know, as Rachel pointed out, in my anger, sometimes my heart becomes hard. And so I have to think about, you know, thinking about the malleable part of that clay. We can't just be hard. We have to be tender. We have to look for the beauty that's left. And we have to have some tenderness toward those people that are oppressing us as well. And I'll say one more thing about that pond. You know, when, because we've been talking about water today, and so that pond has brought to my land such a great diversity of species, and in the springtime I love to hear the spring peepers and the coyotes and the deer and all the wildlife that come there to that pond has been a great benefit to my life. And so anyway, that's what I was thinking about today.
Sonia?